Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Thursday, November 27th. I'm KAHLIL with the details. A temporary ban has been placed on the importation of all poultry products from the United Kingdom. Today, the Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Transformation, Forestry and Industry disclosed that the ban was put into effect as part of measures to prevent the entry of the avian influenza virus to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The ban was imposed due to information received from the Department of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs in the UK, confirming that the country had recently experienced an outbreak of a highly pathogenic avian influenza. The importation ban is imposed with immediate effect and applies to all poultry meat products and processed internal organs of poultry raised, slaughtered or processed in the United Kingdom from 2 weeks prior to the start date of the outbreak, which was confirmed on November 14th and will remain in effect until further notice. The highly pathogenic avian influenza virus, referred to as HPAI H1N1 and sometimes shortened to H5N1, is a virus that occurs mainly in birds, is highly contagious among them and can be deadly, especially to domestic poultry. Though relatively rare, sporadic human infections of this virus have occurred and caused serious illness and death. A workshop geared at advancing the implementation of a national water safety plan for St. Vincent and the Grenadines was opened earlier today. Addressing the opening of the workshop, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, DeShong, says the availability and access to potable water is one of the fundamental determinants of having a good quality of life and the progress towards sustainable development.
This criterion, ladies and gentlemen, hinges on a range of environmental, engineering, institutional, regulatory, socio-economic and cultural factors with varying levels of complexity throughout different regions of the world. And over the last decade, it has been recognized that a water safety plan is an important tool to contribute to water security, reduce health risks to humans from consumption of poor quality water, and to guide future interventions and investments by water utility companies, health regulators, other key government agencies, the private sector, and also the broader society to ensure potable water is available and accessible.
DeShong says the principal objective of the water safety plan is to ensure the safety of potable water through the use of a comprehensive risk assessment and risk management approach, which encompasses all steps in the water supply from catchment to consumers.
The most cost-effective and protective means of consistently assuring a supply of acceptable drinking water is the application of some form of risk management based on sound science and supported by appropriate monitoring. And I'm delighted to state here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, that this water safety plan was initiated by the professionals within our environmental management department with financial support from the Pan American Health Organization, which engaged the services of consultants in August of last year with the objective of developing the plan by using methodology prescribed by the World Health Organization and the PAHO, their Pan American Health Organization, building on earlier national initiatives in the Caribbean, including those supported by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Caribbean Environmental Health Institute.
Meanwhile, Medical Officer of Health Dr. Roger Duncan says it is important to note that the public will be put at great risk if the country is unable to supply safe, adequately treated water or is not able to apply effective management and surveillance of the water supply from source to consumers.
Well, we've not had any major outbreaks of waterborne diseases recently. The risk of new and emerging water diseases exist. The recent events in a neighboring country regarding cholera is a timely reminder of what could possibly happen to us here. Those events in Haiti reinforces the need for a proactive and systematic approach to ensuring the supply of safe drinking water to our populations.
Country representative of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Anek Wilson, says her organization is always honored to provide technical support to the Ministry of Health as it works towards improving the quality of life for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We must always be reminded, however, of the importance of water, and that high-quality potable water is a fundamental determinant of health. Thus, it correlates with the quality of life and progress towards sustainable development. Hence, a strategy document to implement water quality plan is timely, as the ministry works to maintain water security and the prevention of health risk to humans from the consumption of poor quality water. Now, the strategy will therefore guide interventions and investments through contributions from both the private and public sector. As you deliberate today, please revisit the water quality plan recommendations to assist you in detailing the strategies.
While petty crimes are said to be on a steady decrease in SVG, homicides have been increasing in recent times. This is according to Assistant Commissioner of Police Frankie Joseph in an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today.
Recent, I would say, 2 months or so, we have actually seen where not crime in its entirety, but homicides have been on the up, on the rise, but overall crime has been decreasing over the years, and I have these statistics to prove that. However, the homicides have been very troubling.
Joseph says the police are doing everything in their power to prevent and completely remove these criminal activities that have been plaguing the society. According to ASP Joseph, one of the approaches taken is through the placement of mobile stations in some of the hot zones to increase the presence of law enforcement officers.
We have done a number of things so far to try and curb that rise in crimes and in particular homicides. We had an increase in transportation because we actually used to be a challenge to us. So we were given 6 brand new twin cab pickup, and that really has helped us a great deal. We have set up what we call a special patrol with a number of police officers, and one of those new vehicles that we got were given to them when they just started. They were only doing mobile patrol, but because South Central Division, and that's division, the Kalakwa Stubbs Division, has been proven to be a real challenge in terms of crime, we actually base the special patrol unit in that division. Yes, the mobile station in Fountain will be in operation from today, and they also will have a vehicle at their disposal.
Meanwhile, with the Christmas season now upon us, Vincentians are being asked to be very cautious of criminals who will use any opportunity to take advantage of their vulnerability. ASP Joseph says that at Christmas time, there are a lot of persons who commit criminal acts such as stealing and conning others. He therefore used the opportunity to share a few tips for persons shopping in Kingstown for the season.
Also, at the police training school, we have 52 recruits in training, and fortunately they will be graduating on the 18th of next month, which is December. So hence, that is going to give us added human resources that we really and truly need at this time. So in Kingston itself, the beat will have the presence, a heavy police presence within the capital for this Christmas, and also that will help us also to give the out-district station, especially South Central Division, that is a real hotspot that will help us to strengthen that division.
Today, a number of persons were given the opportunity to register at the UWI Open Campus Annual Blood Donors Drive. The event was hosted in collaboration with the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Planned Parenthood Association. Speaking to SVG-TV, facilitator and senior administrative assistant of the UWI Open Campus, Camille Lakhram, says that the event was a success and is encouraging more persons to come forward to donate blood, adding that doing so can determine whether a person lives or dies.
What we're doing is we have 3 stations set up, 2 that are being manned by the personnel from the blood bank. At 1 station, we are doing your blood typing, where we're determining if you're A or B, A plus, B minus, as well as we are determining your blood quality. So we're using the hematocrit machine, and that will tell you your HB levels and therefore whether or not you're eligible to give blood. At the other station that is behind the screens, that is where the interview process is being conducted, and that is where you're going to be asked questions as to your sexual history, if you've had tattoos, what kind of diseases you've had, again to determine if you're considered a low risk or a high risk donor. And then the other station is the one manned by the St. Vincent Planned Parenthood, and at that station you're having your blood pressure and blood sugar checks done. We have been more than pleased with the response thus far. Currently in the first 45 minutes we've had 16 people walk in, and as I mentioned before, this drive is going until 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, so we are anticipating that a lot more persons would be coming. There is one additional station that is not in the lecture hall, it's at the conference room, and that is set up for the rapid HIV testing.
The Ministry of Health says there is a decrease in the number of chikungunya cases in SVG. We have more stories on the local scene when the evening news continues. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment says it has recorded a decrease in the number of reported chikungunya cases in SVG. There is also a significant decrease in the number of cases on the Grenadine island of Bequia, one of the hardest hit areas. A release from the ministry says this is as a result of a range of factors such as continuous health promotion exercises and an intensive vector control program, including inspection of properties, source reduction and increased fogging activities. Chikungunya is a viral disease transmitted to humans by infected Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. It causes fever, severe joint pain, and other symptoms include muscle pain, headaches, nausea, fatigue, and rash. The virus was first reported in SVG in April of this year, and since then there have been close to 2,000 cases reported nationwide. The Ministry of Health says it will continue to intensify health promotion and vector control activities in order to eliminate the disease from SVG, and is urging Vincentians to play an active part in this elimination exercise. East Caribbean Bottlers Incorporated, the new manufacturers of Juicy, launched its operations to the public at an official ceremony today in Camden Park. This comes 5 weeks after Juicy was reintroduced to the local market. CEO of the Eastern Caribbean Group of Companies, ECGC, Osmond Davy, explains that they are in phase 1 of their project with 6 flavors of Juicy already on the market, and by phase 2, new products will be introduced.
In red, orange, apple, banana, pineapple, and our special cola, which was formulated in-house with the help of our chemists, our quality control person there being Mr. Morford and Daniel Black. Next will be phase 2. At first we'll be introducing Billy Drum, an energy drink, which I'm pretty sure all are quite aware of. And I see the minister shaking his head. I can only assume you have had a taste of it in the past. This is going to be better, Minister. In addition, we're bringing water onto the market, other flavors of soda and fruit juices.
Davy says the spin-off of Juicy's reopening includes the employment of some 40+ persons, which he says will lead to further circulation of money in the economy.
Increases to the NIS and the PAY division, and all it will be a contribution to increase our GDP, which in my term is nation building.
Meanwhile, Chairman of ECGC, Audrey DeFreitas, says the decision to acquire Juicy was a hard one for the board of directors.
Mr. Davy and his team convinced the board that this acquisition would not only add to the company's portfolio, but would also contribute to the building of the national economy by increasing employment while contributing to the social development of our country. As committed corporate citizens, how could we say no? Thus, as chairman, I now have a renewed vision for ECGC, which is to be the producer of choice in the OECS for the food and manufacturing and processing sectors, setting and delivering standards of excellence in quality, customer service, employees, empowerment, and shareholder value.
Also addressing today's launching ceremony was Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. He told the directors of the company that they have the potential to tap into the local and export market as it relates to soft drinks. Dr. Gonsalves says the company has a good product line and an efficient plant with good workers which can work to its advantage.
A market to supply here and in the region. And I'm sure that you're going to do your plan properly, your business plan, and move to capture not just a niche, but a substantial share of the market. Now, I believe that you're probably going to add new offerings to the pre-existing ones. And you would have heard recently the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, has asked the soft drinks manufacturers in India to mix aerated beverages with 5% fruit juice for health reasons and to ensure that the local Indian fruit farmers have a ready market for their produce. So this is an area which you may give reflection to, because the health issue is vital.
PM Gonsalves also advised the company to bear in mind that the traditional international soft drink giants like Pepsi and Coca-Cola are moving increasingly into healthy offerings, and they too should get on board.
Fruit juices and vitamin-infused carbonated water. And I'm sure that you're going into, and here you have a new product, not only for village rams but urban rams as well. But I would expect you to go into a number of different areas.
The Prime Minister says the issue of severance for former workers of Bottlers St. Vincent Limited has dragged on for far too long and needs to be addressed soonest. Dr. Gonsalves says he has been in touch with lawyers for the receivers and he has been pushing for the issue to be resolved as soon as possible.
It is not the responsibility of the successor company to take care of the severance payments, because as part of their agreement, they're purchasing without the liability of the severance payment. If they hadn't done that, under the law, they would have been responsible. But they specifically carved that out and say, listen, you deal with your severance payments. We will handle all the other issues. And the problem has been the list of the workers. The list apparently has grown a little. But I've been in touch with Osmond, who has addressed this question, and there's a lady who is down here, I think is Miss Burnett. She knows all who have been working so that any reconciliation can be done. There's sufficient local knowledge. And I spoke with Burns about it. I've spoken to the lawyer, who is Graham Ballas, for the liquidators, receivers. and he has been instructed by his principals to go to the court to have the list formally approved.
Vincentians are being told that they need to be more mindful of the serious consequences of their actions and how they can contribute to global warming. The warning comes from Deputy Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, at the media launch of the Education Entertainment to Influence Behavior Toward Climate Change Adaptation Initiative. Forbes said that climate change is evident by the recent number of natural disasters that have greatly impacted the country, and that the actions of some persons help to contribute to the change in the weather patterns.
If any of you have any doubt, we are into almost Christmas 2014, and if we have any doubt that we need to adapt to climate change, let me remind you of the recent events we would have had over the years. You remember in 2010, we had one of the driest period on record, the first part of 2010. How many of you would have had to look for water elsewhere? That year also we had Hurricane Thomas. And though it was a very dry year, it was one of the wettest years on records since data was being collected at the airport, one of the wettest years on records. Then we had the April 2011 floods. And we're approaching Christmas, and I know most of you may not think of Christmas as you thought of before because of last year's events. Now, these events are testament to the fact that climate change is already upon us. It's not if or when this is happening, it's already upon us. And therefore, the SVG AMP initiative comes at an opportune time to increase our knowledge of climate change and disaster risk reduction and the need to prepare and adapt.
Grafton Cordes, a senior prison officer here, is presently a patient at the intensive care unit at the Milton CATO Memorial Hospital, nursing an injury to his forehead. He was reportedly attacked by a relative last Sunday, November 23rd. According to reports, at the time of the attack, Cordes was power washing his home when he was struck with an object. Following the incident, his relative, Harold Cordes of Fairburn Pasture, was arrested and charged by the police for attempted murder. On Tuesday, he was taken to the Serious Offences Court and remanded to custody until December 5th, when a date will be set for the preliminary inquiry. In other court news, a jail term of 6 years was earlier today imposed on Uranus Cabral, a 24-year-old laborer of Glen, by Chief Magistrate Reshan Brown Matthias. This after he was found guilty on 2 separate charges of gun and ammunition possession without the relevant license. According to the evidence that came out in court, on November 17th, members of the Rapid Response Unit were on routine mobile patrol in the Glen area when Cabral was seen walking along the public road. On seeing the police, he began walking away hastily, which made the officers suspicious. The police are said to have approached Cabral and requested a search of him. It was then the discovery of a black and silver gun and 3 rounds of ammunition was made in a bag he was carrying on his back. Today, the National Lotteries Authority launched yet another fixed-prize game from which Vincentians can profit from playing. The new Play 4 game will be available for purchase from this Monday at NLA vendors across the island. Product Development Officer of the NLA, Anthony Dennie, describes the game as a new and very exciting one with many benefits. He also expressed his confidence in the future success of the game, noting that there is a lot to be gained from purchasing a ticket.
Simply called Play 4, a very exciting game. The tagline is win even more, and believe you me, there are a lot of exciting ways to play this game and a lot of prizes available through this new initiative from the National Lotteries Authority. There's been a buzz around for the last 3 to 4 months. We would have teased you just after Carnival, but they're coming soon, both on radio and on television. And I can say to you that our office, was bombarded with calls, and players can choose 4 digits from 0 to 9, and those 4 digits certainly will entitle you, quite naturally, to be part of one draw that is held. For now, we're having one daily draw, Mondays to Saturdays. That draw will be held at 9 p.m. and will be televised on television.